April the 3rd, 2026. Guys, you're looking at images coming up into the current time this evening of LASCO C3, and there's Comet maps coming in. What you're seeing is the tip widening out, and it's going to flare out almost like a cross as it gets closer to the sun and get much brighter as it gets closer to that solar wind and that transfer of energy. Well, there's the big flare before it came in, and here it is right there. Now notice as this cycle ends, you're going to see the difference. You see that sundiver there? That was a normal sundiver, but now Comet Maps is larger, and we're starting to see it. Guys, I had a blood pressure issue in the last couple of days, and yesterday I was not able to come on live, but what I did look at this thing, and we were only getting about 3 frames. And guys, I just had to chill out. I had to lay down. Anyway, what we're seeing now is the comet starting to get closer. It's probably around 12 million miles from the sun at this point. Remember, from here to the centers, you got 30 million miles. So it's about halfway. Now notice right there, that's a normal sundiver. So I wanted to come in and just kind of update you on that and let you know where we stand with it. From what I understand, if you're looking to the west, which is what we're doing right here, we're looking into the sun from an Earth-facing perspective. Don't do it with binoculars until after the sun goes down, because it'll blind you. But once the sun sets over California or over that area, you should be able to see this comet coming in as it gets closer to the sun. Now, we also looked at the other camera that's on this satellite. That's the red camera called LASCO C2. And that will encompass about 5.5 million miles right in this area. It's not quite there yet, but when it does, which will probably be in a few hours, we'll get a much closer look at it. What you're seeing, though, is it gets closer, it's increasing in speed, and you're going to see that cross push out as it gets closer and closer, because sometimes it'll look like they're getting bigger, but they're kind of headed away from the sun or not close. But this thing is they're saying a sun grazer, but it's very close to being a sundiver. Check that out. Let's look at it a little closer. Again, your timestamp at the bottom. Now remember, we were looking at it going in 24-hour increments. So we're right at that second section. And by about 4 a.m. this morning, this thing is moving fast enough to where you're gonna see the close approach to the sun, or the perihelion is what they call it. But you can see, guys, again, the difference in this comet and the sundiver just before it as it cycles through. One more time. What you're seeing, this distortion right here, is the actual arm, like on the old satellite dishes that held the LNBF up, guys. And it's being distorted because it's right on the camera, but that's what that blockage is. You're seeing you're seeing maps come in after the explosion on April the 2nd, right there. Here it comes in, and watch again as it starts to flare. As it stops, you're seeing right in front of it that other sundiver. Guys, that's what we have. I'm not making it long. Had to get it together just to sit here long enough and try to focus on this. But it's very interesting. We got a lot going on. We had a jet shot down today in Iran. We had a helicopter, or 2 helicopters hit, attempting a rescue, and how that will change the aspect coming out of the swamp. You know what I'm saying? Will that anger Trump? Will that make him do a little more to keep it going, or to attack them? Because right now, again, I said this earlier, please bring our troops home. Let Europe and Asia fight it out over who wants the war or who wants the oil, because Iran has been weakened. But we no longer need to be involved with that war, because it has a lot to do with the synagogue of Satan. And you know the verse in Revelation I'm talking about, guys. You know it very well. So we need to get out of there. We need to regroup at home. And we need to look at what's going on. Pam Bundy's gone. A few other people, I think in 2 days, Pete Hegseth has fired 3 top generals. One of them was one of Miley's good buddies. And we know how crooked they are. And the only thing that I've heard about it was they were going against the Trump plan. And we saw it with Miley. I mean, he appeared in Trump's first election. In his first 4 years, we had Barr. Before that, we had Sessions out of Alabama, then Barr. Then we had all kind of ridiculous people show up, Mueller, and all deep state operatives. So now, although I'm not a fan of some of the people I'm talking about, I do understand the fact that some of the old school generals and all that are embedded and entrenched like a tick, just like the Congress is, and the House and the Senate is in D.C. like a tick. They are piranhas. They are vampires that suck on our taxpayer money. Again, guys, I wanted to show you this, and we're going to look at LASCO C2. That's the camera on the same satellite, and we're right on the edge of getting very good close-up pictures from that, and they should be up. Again, if you look at the time schedule, then by 4 a.m. Central Time and this morning, Comet Maps should be going behind this occulter disk. That's what you're seeing here. This is the arm of it. And it's to block out the glare of the sun, so we see these explosions, we see the stars, and we see these incoming, in this case, they're saying a sun grazer comet. And we saw the sun diver happen right there. But let's look at LASCO C2 just a moment. And this is, again, the same satellite. This camera is, what an explosion, guys. But it encompasses in its field of view, I'd say from this area right here, where you can see the entire sphere, 5.5 million miles. We were just looking at a 30 million mile field of view in the blue camera, again, on the same LASCO satellite. What an explosion, guys. And I want you to realize something, that what we're looking at. And guess what you're looking at is the majesty of our Father's creations. I know that will freak out the flat-head earthers. I understand that. But guys, I'm not totally ignorant about space. I do not believe that in our modern history we've been to the moon. I don't think Artemis is going to get anywhere close to it, or Artemis 2, excuse me, as we look at these magnificent images. But again, right now, the satellite has not come into that bottom left corner. It should not be but a few hours. But I do not believe that they ever landed on the moon. And now suddenly, after all these years, generations almost, they're going to go back. Why did they wait so long? Because they never went to begin with. It was a space race against Russia at that time. Are we seeing the same thing against China now? The only thing difference is they think we're still as unaware as a lot of people were back then. But let me say this to NASA. We're not stupid. It's obvious what you're doing. You're grifting money for some other things, whether it's the space war, or in which I have no problems with. And the military arm of all of this, I understand it, because if you've got people like China, Russia, and all that have a lot of defense satellites up, that could take out our defense satellites, you may want to be up in that arena of the conflict. No problem. I have no problem with that. But the bull crap about the moon has gotten really old, and not quite as old as the bull crap about Mars. Let me also say this. By studying the ancient Sumerian text and the travels of the Anunnaki, I'm not saying that creatures or people with advanced spacecraft and advanced radiation protection have not come through and went back out of that Van Allen radiation belt way past the moon. As a matter of fact, they talk about the moon as a relay station, as well as Mars being a relay station out of the stronger gravity of the Earth. In other words, launch a rocket here, you saw how much fuel that Artemis 2 used. It looked like it was unbelievable that they could put that much fuel into a rocket. And I don't think that was CGI at all. and they've had some problems with it already. I think they bought the top part from Temu. But anyway, guys, it's pretty ridiculous. Remember CNN during the Iraq War, and they were saying they were holding their helmets and saying bombs were coming in, and it turned out they were in the CNN basement filming it with fake props. Well, that's how I feel about it, but why not just be honest? Say we need the money because we're in a space war against whatever nations have the sat technology as far as lasers to take out other satellites. And I think they're talking about China has advanced a couple of different aircraft, kind of like these space planes or like a smaller shuttle that can fly around the world for a year and then re-land totally unmanned. But now they're testing them to take out satellites while they're up in orbit, move very quickly between them. And so I understand Space Force. And again, I'm going to end this, but notice the sun diver that's very small, that's out in front of Comet Maps, enters this very quickly and starts to dissipate. Now, Maps is going to be bigger, and all you're going to see is a blur coming out of this area here. And right there, you see it? That's the sun diver. Maps is going to be bigger, and it's going to be getting larger as it gets closer. Another thing I'll say is, you see this black scar here and here. I think about 2 months ago when we saw a series of X-flares come through that we did some damage to the optics of LASCO. We've seen it before with stereo A and B. The graphics have gotten really bad, but all of these satellites are well past their date of expiration. So we're getting excellent views again from LASCO C2 here, LASCO C3 in the blue, and we'll do an update on this first thing in the morning, guys. It's going to be very interesting to see how the sun's gravity affects Maps coming in. You're going to see it expand out. You'll see almost a cross form. And then will it come out in one piece? Will it hit the sun? Will it be just a debris field? What type of explosions will we see? Again, it's going to be interesting. And guys, let me apologize for last night. It was tough, and I'm tough, but it was tough enough to where I couldn't deal with it, and I had to lay down and chill out. Very high blood pressure, over 200. Anyway, guys, I missed doing it. I missed you guys. We're back. We're going to hang in there. This is a heads up. Be safe.